May the Force be with you. Show you I'm a dedicated Star Wars fan. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. These are my only 2 tattoos. Since I was 10 years old, I was like, if I get tattoos, it's going to be those 2. And the only tattoos I ever got so far have been Star Wars tattoos. So, just to let you know. Star Wars Day. A lot of crazy things going on in the world right now. And it's all happening during Star Wars Day. But I'm reading a list. Episodic 9 films. I'm going to read it worst to best. Is that ascending, descending, whatever order? But what I think is the worst of these films. Up until what I think is the best. And this starts out with the worst, in my opinion. Episode 9. Rise of Skywalker. God, that movie's so dumb. It is over-bloated. It is the most fast-paced movie I've ever seen. Like 600 things happen every minute. I literally remember Chewbacca dying. I think I blinked and he was back to life. This movie had so many things that were not introduced before. They were just throwing things in here. It was just like, how many things can we land in one movie? Rey got new powers. She's healing things. She's kissing Kylo Ren because Reddit said so. It is a movie about how many different ideas can we cram into one film because The Last Jedi didn't work with this one. Movie is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. With the most cringy, so many cringy moments, I couldn't stand it. Number 8, Last Jedi. I think Last Jedi is half a good movie. I think everything between Luke and Rey, minus saying laser sword, was pretty good. Or throwing the lightsaber, hated those things. But I thought the conversations are pretty good. It's not where I would have gone with Luke at all. I think New Jedi Order is the way this whole sequel trilogy should have gone. But Mark Hamill's great. Daisy Ridley's great. I could have watched the whole movie on the island. Everything else that happened outside of that, when it came to the ship, was just ridiculous to me. You know, Poe and his war against purple-haired lady was so pointless. All they had to do was sit down and have a conversation with each other. That's it, and that whole thing is null and void. And ships running out of fuel, that's why they can't destroy them right now. When have they ever talked about fuel? These things run on gas. They're like, oh, the gas price is too high. We can't stock up right now. Poor, who's the Asian actress? Whatever the hell her name is. Her character, Rose. Bad character. Felt bad for the actress. She got written into bad dialogue in a bad film and got destroyed for it. Number 7. Episode 7. I think this movie's a blast. I saw this in theaters more times than I've ever seen any film. I saw this in theaters 5 times. I thought it was a great time. Absolutely not where I would have gone with the sequels with reiterating Empire stuff. The neo-Nazis. I did not care for that, but I was having such a good time watching it, and I was just hoping the sequel would be better, but it was a very fun time in the theater. Absolutely. I thought it was it's unfortunately, because it is a part of a trilogy, it is hindered by the failures of the following films. And it becomes a film, to me, about nothing at the end. It's a pointless movie. It's an entertaining movie, but it is rendered pointless because of the subsequent films. So, number 6, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. I don't hate this movie like a lot of people do. A lot of people think this movie's terrible. I don't think it's terrible. I just think that it is like Last Jedi. Half of it's good and half it's bad. And the half that's good is everything with Obi-Wan on this great detective mission. He's fighting Jango Fett, trying to find out the origin of the clones. Master Sifo Dyas that you never see. The Kaminoans. Him getting onto Geonosia. And it's all great stuff. That great climactic war at the end with all the Jedi. It's phenomenal. The bad stuff is, unfortunately, the love story that just hinders this film. It drags it down. It's like an anchor tied on its ankle. The love story is so nonsensical. No woman would love this lunatic. He's killing all the Tusken Raiders, and she goes and gives him a hug after he's like acting like a psychopath. I slaughtered them like animals. I'm like, oh my God. It's like Christopher Columbus landing on the shore, slaughtering everybody. All those savages. So, yeah. This movie is half a good movie, half a bad movie. Number 4. The Phantom Menace. I think The Phantom Menace is... It's pretty... It's decent. I think this suffers a lot from editing, and the same thing that all these movies in the prequels suffer from, almost most Star Wars movies really, is the B-plot is ruining the movie. You go to this great triple threat fight. Handicap match, really. of Darth Maul fighting Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. And it keeps cutting back to things that we care less about. Too less about, to where I'm like, stop cutting back to this. I don't care about Anakin and his Federation fight. Put that in a different part of the movie. Make that happen first. Get that done. And then go to this fight. And Jar Jar and the Gungans and their fight. Great. Make that happen. Then go to this great three-way fight. Padme and her little rebellion thing. Great. Make that happen. And leave this fight uninterrupted. That's the problem, is that these movies have just a inability to stop letting the B line take from the A line of the plot. That's the problem. But the A line of this movie, the pod races are great. Qui-Gon is a great character. Obi-Wan is phenomenal by Ewan McGregor. Darth Maul is a great villain. There are great things in this movie. It's just that B line. A lot of memorable moments in this movie. A lot of good music in this movie. Was it Duel of Fates? Is that what it's called? So, number 4? Well, number 5 was Phantom Menace. What the hell did I say? Number 4 is Return of the Jedi. This movie's like 2 movies. Like 2 movies, really. The first act on Tatooine is absolutely stellar. It is a great rescue mission. It is Jabba the Hutt hiding behind a curtain is silly. But I love everything about it. It's the best part of the movie, which is the problem because it's the best part of the movie. The rest of the movie, the second act is it's fine. The third act with Luke is great, but just the stuff with Luke is great. Everything else is fine. So the rest of the movie is okay. But the first act is so good. You got Rancors, you got Luke Skywalker being a badass, you got Jabba the Hutt being a great gangster with his Twi'lek whores dancing around him. You got Salacious Crumb. What a name. You got jizz music. Look it up. That's what it's called. Their band, the genre, is called jizz music. George Lucas is having some fun. The Scarif, the Dune Sea, the Sarlacc Pit. All that stuff is so good. Boba Fett, unfortunately, became cool later, but he was not cool in this movie. He looked cool. And it's the only reason he got into anything else is because of how he looked. But first act of this movie sells it. And Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader is one of my favorite things in film history. Number 3, Revenge of the Sith. The impact of this movie. I remember seeing this movie twice in a single day. But it was something else. You never thought you were going to see a Star Wars movie after this. I was a kid and I was like, this is the last Star Wars film. And what a way to go out. We got collectible toys still today from Walmart and Toys R Us that were going on, toy sprees. You could go buy these future collectible items. But this movie was it's probably one of the best paced Star Wars films. The first act is very entertaining and fast paced. It's with the rescue of Palpatine and the setup of Count Dooku. It's very fast paced, quippy dialogue. It's very easy, empty calories to just entertain you. But then second act slows down. And it starts building to something more. So entertaining first act. Second act slows down. Starts building to something more. It's good stuff. And it starts adding in the emotional tie-ins. It starts adding in why Anakin could be a good character. I think Darth Vader should have been a war general and not this prissy little teen boy. But it starts building up his character and building up motivations, building up reasons why Palpatine is going to turn this guy into Darth Vader. It starts building the idea of the Galactic Empire we're soon to see. And then third act is nothing but just home runs. Epic fight, epic music, Yoda versus Darth Sidious, memorable moments, memorable lines. That third act is a home run. I think the ending got a little silly with the no and blah, blah, blah. But this movie is well paced and it builds and builds and builds and it never lets up and it just ends on a great note. Revenge of the Sith is a great movie. It's a great movie. Number 2 is where it gets controversial. 2 and 1. Number 2, Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back is a flawless movie. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. One of my favorite memories of past few years was about 3-4 years ago. Went to Star Wars Celebration and sat there with a big crowd of Star Wars nerds in this auditorium and we just watched The Empire Strikes Back. Everyone's cheering. Everyone's having a good time. It was a very fun experience. I usually hate people talking movie theaters, but this was a one time where people were just in celebration. Star Wars celebration. This movie makes Luke Skywalker a much better character than he was in the original. Han Solo's phenomenal. I Love You, I Know is one of the best back and forths in movie history. Darth Vader kicks ass. The set design is so good. In the confrontation between him and Luke, the lighting, the cinematography is phenomenal. Everything with the Millennium Falcon is great. Space worms. Minox. Boba Fett, he's back. Lando Calrissian, Billy D. Williams, cool guy, saw him from a distance at the last MegaCon. Great movie. Classic movie. Fantastic subtitle. The Empire Strikes Back. Does it get better than that title? Whoever came up with that title. Round of applause. Number one for me is A New Hope. I think Empire Strikes Back is a more solid movie. But it's a dark movie where the bad guys win, which is great. But a movie that feels to me like it just set off a legendary spree of adventure films is A New Hope. A New Hope starts off slow. You might want to forward the beginning a little bit so things get moving. But it's such a fun 3-act film. You have the act on Tatooine, the act on the Death Star, and then the war against the Death Star. It is so perfectly done in that way. I love the adventure. I love the ride. It ends in a celebration. It ends in an award thing. It is so a journey. It feels like a journey more than any other film. It feels like you are on a roller coaster of a ride, and that's why I love it a little bit more than everything else. Now, it goes back and forth between this and Empire Strikes Back. But I look at these things as adventure films. These are great fantasy, sci-fi adventure films, and this is the adventure element more than anything else. It's the war element a lot too, because Rogue One was a war film. A New Hope is a great war film. Like, it ends in a literal war, more so than the other films. Ends in a great World War II dogfight. But you look at this introduction to Darth Vader. He walks in there like a beast, slaughters the crew, grabs this dude by the throat, throws him against the wall. You look at how badass these villains were. Grand Moff Tarkin interrogates Leia. She's acting all tough. He blows up her entire planet. That's some gangster stuff right there. Darth Vader starts choking fools to disagree with him. These are some villains right there. You don't get past those introductions of villains. Those are great villains. Act 2, you got these terrorists boarding your ship. Act 3, you got a great dogfight. This movie is a perfect 3-act film. It really is. So, Empire Strikes Back. Last act is good. I think the Hoth stuff is great. But this is the most adventurous film, and it puts war at the end of that movie. And it's called Star Wars. Boom! In space. Those are my top 9. Is that where we're at? Are we going to have 3 more? It's going to be the 12 of the Star Wars films on Star Wars Day. What's your list? And like and subscribe. I want to make this channel something. Thank you for watching.